Hello, I'm Edward Tarte, once a Catholic priest for 5 years in the 1960s, now an atheist, which means I find no credible evidence for the existence of any God. This is mid-July 2013. Catholic priest Father T.J., with whom I, along with a bunch of others, were dialoguing for the past couple of years, was transferred 2 weeks ago from this vicinity to a Catholic parish about 40 miles away. I am sure that TJ is very busy there, and I figured the dialogue had ended, but no, it hasn't. TJ posted a comment in which he said in part, quote, "I am excited about the new chapter in my ministry, continuing to serve the Lord and His holy people. I've been busy, but not too busy to pray for you and your subscribers." Unquote. I replied asking him about that phrase, the Lord's holy people. Is that just Catholics, or does it include Baptists, Methodists, Lutherans, Presbyterians, Mormons, Disciples of Christ, Jehovah's Witnesses, and other groups, including so many people that don't like you one bit? And what about us atheists? What will you call us? TJ replied as follows, quote, "All of the people in the world are God's holy people. My parishioners, Protestants, Jews, Muslims, atheists, and even you, Mr. Tarte. That is why I keep communicating with you. I'm trying to help you understand that you too are one of God's children. Be good, Mr. Tarte." Unquote. Well, TJ, your former parish in which I live says at its website, quote, "Baptized into Christ Jesus, we worship as one and reach out to all." Unquote. Catholic dogma says that each of us was born in the filthy condition of original sin, sin inherited from the biblical Adam and Eve, and we need prompt baptism in order to cleanse our souls. Here I am as an infant, unbaptized because my parents were secular. My father was a fallen away Catholic, so to speak. He and my mother were married outside the Catholic Church, so in the eyes of the Catholic Church, they were never actually married. And in the eyes of the Catholic Church, I was therefore an illegitimate child. I was, and still am in their eyes, a bastard. Was I then one of God's holy people? Here I am, having reached the Catholic Church's age of the use of reason, 7 years old, and still unbaptized, capable, according to Catholic dogma, of dying and going to hell. Was I at that time one of God's holy people? At age 22, I became a Catholic and was baptized. Did I then become one of God's holy people, or had I already somehow achieved that status? 2 years ago, in April 2011, I obtained from the Freedom from Religion Foundation this debaptismal certificate. It says, "I, Edward C. Tarte, having submitted to baptism before embracing free thought and reason, hereby officially renounce that primitive rite and the church that imposed it. I categorically reject the creeds, dogmas, and superstitions of my former religion, particularly the pernicious doctrines of original sin and damnation. I further denounce as an affront and defamation to humanity the false and demeaning belief that any baby is born with original sin and must be cleansed of it by baptism. From this day forward, I wish to be excluded from any claims of religious affiliation or membership based on baptismal records." Signed, Edward C. Tarte, April 21st, 2011. Quotation from Robert Ingersoll, "With soap, baptism is a good thing." I emailed the pastor of the church where I was baptized. That pastor was a fellow seminarian along with me back in the 1960s. I asked him to remove me from that church's baptismal records. He messaged me back, graciously agreeing to do that. Having renounced my baptism, am I now still one of God's holy people? Well, TJ, concerning your God is the God of the Bible, and you already must know what I think of your God. Your God endorses and or practices slavery, rape, incest, child abuse, mass murder, mass torture, and many more evils. Your God is the creator and overseer of hell, and you have told me one of the most ridiculous things that I have been told in my entire life, that I may go to hell and be tortured there forever and find that I am actually the only person there. Because your God is so evil, even if I believed that he exists, which I do not, I would not want anything to do with him. Does all that still make me one of God's holy people? I vehemently renounce the whole idea. Am I one of God's holy people against my will? And one more point about that phrase. In your phrase, God's holy people, what does the word holy mean? Does it have its ordinary dictionary meaning? Was Hitler one of God's holy people? Was Stalin one of God's holy people? TJ, so much of what you say and do makes no sense to me. I invite you to make a video response. To all of you, thank you for watching this video.